The Magi, written by Maria K. Narrated by D. Paul Faulkner. It seemed a shame to end one's life at the age of 26, but that's just how it was going to be. Or so thought Carter Wolski, the November night he came home after his mother's funeral and the electricity went out. This had been a particularly crappy year. Carter found he could no longer grieve. He was just too damn tired. So tired of this year, there was no energy left for anything else. His sister Maria, Captain Wolski, he corrected himself, after surviving 2 tours of duty in the Middle East and 1 more in Indonesia, had died in a car accident the previous winter. She was 13 years Carter's senior. He was a late, surprise baby, and they didn't see each other often, but they stayed in touch regularly via email and Skype. Not surprisingly, she had never spoken of the violence she had witnessed, but liked to talk about local customs, people she'd met, foods she'd tried, places she'd visited, and, always with a chuckle, gifts she was swindled into buying at various markets and roadside stands. She had been planning to spend a few days with a friend in California before heading home to North Carolina after her last tour. The cab she took from LAX was hit by a drunk driver in a truck, flew off a cliff, and burned when it hit the ground 100 feet below. There was nothing left of her to bury, save for a handful of ashes. His parents had held up fine, or seemed to until after the funeral, when the urn with Marina's remains was placed in the family plot, and then they came home, and his father quietly collapsed to the floor. The ambulance arrived in record time, and the paramedics did everything they could, but he was pronounced dead on arrival, a heart attack. A couple of months later, Carter's mother, who had always remembered every birthday, every phone number, every movie plot, and every detail of every book she'd ever read, started forgetting where she'd placed her keys. Then she started forgetting appointments and days of the week, and names and places. It was a particularly vicious, fast-growing, inoperable brain tumor, they told him. Within months, she had to be placed in a hospice. Carter's manager didn't exactly reprimand him for his frequent absences, but when the time came for the traditional annual corporate layoffs, he ended up low enough on the totem pole to get swept away with the other requisite 10% let go per directive from upstairs. He never told his mother, although he doubted she would have remembered it anyway, and milked his little bit of severance and his 3 credit cards for all they were worth. The few friends who had stuck by him had a better clue about his situation. They brought him food, took him out to eat, invited him over, and sent him home with leftovers. An unsuccessful
sample complete. Ready to continue?